Tonight, the federal budget set to splash some cash across the region. And tributes continue to flow for a 13-year-old boy killed in a tragic incident in Port Lincoln.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf Studios, your nightly news with Ruby Kamain begins now.
Good evening. For a government determined to get Australia back in the black, last night's federal budget would have been unimaginable 18 months ago. The Treasurer says it's all about securing our recovery from the pandemic, but it comes at a big cost.
In his second pandemic budget, Treasurer Josh Frydenberg hoping to set Australia on the path to normality.
Jobs are coming back. The economy is coming back. Australia is coming back.
Our handling of COVID-19 putting Australia ahead in the economic recovery.
It has come at a significant and unavoidable cost.
A gross debt of $829 billion forecast this financial year, with a deficit of $161 billion and no sign on when that debt will be cleared.
This year's deficit is $52.7 billion lower than it was expected just over 6 months ago in last year's budget.
Don't expect a big pay rise anytime soon. Wage growth forecast at just 1.5%. The government hoping another round of previously announced tax cuts will ease pressure on our back pockets. For South Australia, there's $148 million for the Augusta Highway duplication and $2.6 billion for the North-South corridor.
We will provide higher incentives to rural and regional GPs for bulk billed services.
A budget defined by a health crisis, spending big on health programs. NDIS, mental health services and aged care the big winners. Labor's main sticking points, childcare reforms not going far enough and plans being made without vaccination targets.
There's no plan for opening up the economy. This is about short-term political management.
Spending money to make money, the theme this year in what could well be an election budget. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Tributes are continuing to grow for a Port Lincoln teenager killed in a horror industrial bin incident yesterday morning. His shattered classmates are now being offered counselling by the Education Department.
24 hours on and Port Lincoln's community is still trying to come to terms with yesterday's horror incident.
This is a tragedy. It's a tragedy that's befallen not only just the family and friends, but the community as well.
Today, counsellors met with devastated classmates and teachers at the Lincoln Gardens Primary School, where the 13-year-old boy attended as a Year 7 student. Outside the school, the Aboriginal flag was flying at half-mast. In a statement, the Education Department says there is a deep sense of sadness and loss in the school, which has been keenly felt by those who knew him well. Floral tributes have also been growing throughout the day at the site where the boy was killed in the most horrific circumstances.
The community itself is very, very concerned that this type of incident can occur.
Police say the teenager was sleeping with 2 of his mates in an industrial bin yesterday morning when a garbage truck picked up the bin and tipped him inside. While the other 2, aged 11 and 12, managed to escape, the 13-year-old suffered serious injuries and was killed. Today, the boy's principal described him as a great storyteller, and our people warmed to him for his lovely personality and sense of humour. Questions are mounting as to why the 3 boys were sleeping in a bin in the first place, which will form a major part of the coronial investigation.
In the meantime, Council will be supportive of any way that we can, and we've got to be respectful of the families and the friends at this time as well.
Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
More COVID-19 vaccination clinics are now operating across the region, with the Flinders and Upper North Local Health Network commencing its rollout today. Staff say it's a step in the right direction, with those eligible for the jab helping to fight against the virus.
This frontline healthcare worker, first to receive a Pfizer jab here at the Port Augusta Hospital Vaccination Clinic.
It was quick and easy, painless, in and out in a minute or 2 once all the checks were done.
Part of a vaccination rollout boost. The Flinders and Upper North Local Health Network receiving more than 2,000 doses, with more expected over the next few weeks.
It's a really important step as part of our vaccination program. So yesterday we had our first delivery in Whyalla and Port Augusta of the Pfizer vaccine. So this will complement our existing AstraZeneca vaccination program across the local health network.
The Pfizer vaccine now available for eligible people under age 50, while those aged over 50 will still receive AstraZeneca. It's hoped the clinics will give more people access to the vaccine, encouraging those eligible to book an appointment.
We're really excited to be able to move forward with our vaccination program. We're really encouraging the community to roll up their sleeve, to make an appointment to be vaccinated, as this is a really important step for us to return to the pre-COVID normal.
The Port Augusta Hospital is one of many COVID vaccination clinics popping up across the region, with more set to open in the coming weeks.
Let's protect the people that cannot get vaccinated and are at a higher risk of catching COVID.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Meanwhile, New South Wales has been quick to introduce new restrictions on travellers from Victoria following a new community case reported yesterday. From this morning, anyone who has visited Greater Melbourne since last Thursday must complete a border declaration form. New South Wales Health says it's critical in identifying anyone who may have visited a site of concern in Victoria. The state's borders do, however, remain open. No new cases were reported overnight. A Stirling North couple who sold cars while unlicensed has been fined a total of $6,000. A 42-year-old man and 51-year-old woman both pleaded guilty to dealing in vehicles without a licence in Port Augusta Magistrates Court last month. The court heard the Consumer and Business Services had previously warned the man after he had bought, sold or offered for sale 8 vehicles over a 12-month period without a second-hand vehicle dealer's licence. He then entered into an assurance with the Commissioner for Consumer Affairs. However, an investigation revealed the couple was still selling vehicles a year on, selling a further 9 within a year. Still to come tonight, Spencer Gulf winemakers turned their attention to the Japanese market. And Port Augusta's Little Athletics Club fights to stay open after 30 years. Welcome back. South Australian winemakers are now looking at new international markets following tough new China export tariffs that has sent the industry into a frenzy. Japan has been flagged as a potential new buyer with more than 30 million wine drinkers.
Taylor's Wine's one of the many wineries left with a bad taste following drastic China export tariffs. But now head winemaker Mitchell Taylor says the future is bright with Japan now in his sights.
While the figures are modest at this stage, they are saying some really positive notes to us. And so we're quite excited by the prospects of growing that market.
It could shape the future of local exports after winemakers were forced to scramble late last year. Japan also suffering through a similar ordeal.
They also have some trade tensions with China. They also understand quality. They have a real taste for the very best wines in the world.
South Australia and Japan have a deep and enduring relationship, and be able to experience each other's culture is important, and also to experience each other's fantastic produce.
Not much relief for winemakers, however, coming out of the federal budget, despite some of the highest taxed in the world.
A very hefty 26% on the sales that we sell into the Australian market.
Now recently winning an award, Mitchell Taylor is hoping the future of his top drop will reach more international markets.
Shiraz over in the United States. So we're really happy with our Jarraman Shiraz, and this has been a very popular one in the Japanese markets.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Port Augusta's Little Athletics Club is calling on the community for support, with its committee in desperate need of new members. Current members say if they are unable to increase their numbers, the club won't be able to return for another season.
For these kids, Little Athletics is their sport. But the 30-year-old Port Augusta club is now at risk of being dissolved.
If other people don't come, there won't be a season.
We're looking for more kids to come out, more families to become involved. Committee members as well would be great. So Yeah, we need more support, more people out here.
The family-orientated club relies heavily on its committee and volunteers, but is in desperate need of support to see the next season through.
We actually rely on parents for help supporting their kids, but also helping packing up, setting up, doing recordings out there to help us making the events go well.
From sprints to shot put, long jump to discus. These little athletes love what they do.
I like 100-metre hurdles and making new friends.
I like doing shot put. It's like really fun and you can try out new events. I like doing discus and high jump. You get to spend time with people and do fun events.
It's an alternative to traditional sports, giving those aged 3 to 17 the opportunity to try out many events, striving to do their best while trying to beat their own records. For the parents, they say being involved in a sport where you can see your child develop is extremely rewarding.
Watching them evolve in the sport itself and push their limits,
Little Athletics is encouraging those who are interested in helping to sustain the club's future to get in contact.
We have a meeting at the fire station on Trent Road on May 31st at 6 o'clock, and we would love for new families, existing families to come along and put their hand up.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Despite being a city rich with history, Port Pirie has won top spot in a not-so-great competition. A popular comedic Facebook page giving the city an unwanted title. However, not everyone is laughing.
Officially named South Australia's most shit town for 2021, according to this popular Facebook page. But Port Pirie's mayor begs to differ and isn't laughing along.
I'm not really happy with it, and it's one of those things that we've got a vibrant community, a great business community. We work really, really hard to make our environment a beautiful place to live, and this person that doesn't even know us comes and labels us.
Coming out on top with 38% of the vote, co-founder Jeff Rissole has ruffled some feathers in the meantime. A merchandise range has even been released following the crowning of the title. It's not the first time Port Pirie has received the unwanted label, and the mayor says enough is enough.
Puts a sticker on your back like "kick me." Well, just about telling him I'm sick of being kicked, so we'll have to move this along, I think.
Now an open invitation sent for the co-founder to come out to Port Pirie and check out the town for himself.
I've already invited him, and he can come and stay at my house even if he wants to, but he might need to get a note from his parents to come along. But I'm really looking forward to him coming along and let him meet the people that he's bagging out.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. SES teams prepare to put their rescue skills to the test. And Broken Hill locals announced as Nurses of the Year. Hello again. Port Lincoln State Emergency Service will be put to the test this weekend as part of the State Rescue Challenge. 8 teams from across the state will take part in a range of emergency scenarios, testing their rescue and response skills.
The stage is set for a mammoth and gruelling weekend of challenges for our emergency services.
Getting really back to the basics of why we're here.
8 state emergency service teams, including Port Lincoln, will venture to Adelaide for the SES State Rescue Challenge. The 2-day event putting the skills and knowledge of volunteers to the test while under pressure.
I think it's going to be an eye-opener for a number of the new ones, but obviously the other people that have been doing it for a while, they're going to love it anyway.
The last time the Port Lincoln crew competed in the state challenge, they were placed 2nd in the country units and 4th overall. The biannual challenge will be staged in the Adelaide Hills this year, with teams thrown into a range of emergency scenarios.
I would say that it'd be very similar to the challenges in the past. I would have something like a land search to do, maybe a contact search, which is a crime scene search. We'd have some general rescue in there, storm and flood. Obviously that's a big part of SES right around the state.
The Port Lincoln crew will hit the road this Friday, optimistic they'll be on top of their game. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
It's been a difficult year for our healthcare heroes on the front line against COVID-19. Today, on International Nurses Day, health workers in Broken Hill had a chance to reflect and receive recognition for their efforts.
These are some of the faces behind the face masks. Today, a chance to let their hair down on International Nurses Day.
I've been nursing 40 years and this is the hardest my team has worked.
From conducting COVID tests, introducing procedures to stop the spread of the virus and now administering vaccines, Broken Hill's nurses have had a challenging 18 months.
And we've asked a lot of them. Every day or every week there'd be a change, whether you wear a mask, you don't wear a mask.
Catching up over a barbecue in the hospital courtyard, those who went above and beyond recognised. Sam Bryant chosen by his peers as Nurse of the Year for his patient-focused care and resilience, continuing work even after being assaulted by a patient.
I was always resonating with someone suffering and the mental health care, and I wanted to know more about how you do help people who are suffering.
He's part of the Mental Health Inpatient Unit, today named Team of the Year. Victoria Crook crowned New to Practice Nurse of the Year after completing a graduate program in 2020.
I always wanted to do remote nursing and try something different, and I feel the experience that you get out here is very different to your hospitals in major cities.
Today's lunch a brief reprieve before the team returned to their rounds. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
There's a new exhibition at Port Augusta's Platform Gallery featuring a collection belonging to a local doll maker. Isabel Khan has been collecting dolls for more than 30 years and regularly exhibits in Western Australia. This time the gallery encouraged her to showcase her work before travelling interstate.
It's just so whimsical and lovely and makes you smile as soon as you walk in and have a look at all the characters in the room.
Fabulous fantasy dolls will run until the end of June, with locals and visitors encouraged to take a look. Stay with us after the break. We'll check out all the prices at the Bowser across the region, and we'll have the weather details with Alex. Welcome back. In some welcome news for drivers, there's been little surprise when it comes to fuel prices across our region. But regardless of where you live, expect to pay more for diesel this week. Here's Lachlan Itter with this week's Fuel Watch.
It's another week of smooth sailing at the petrol pump. While there's no cheap prices to get excited about, there's only a few areas where prices have gone up, namely Port Augusta and Port Pirie when we look at unleaded, but we're just talking the slightest of increases, not even half a cent. Just shy of $1.43 in Port Augusta, Port Pirie $1.35, and no surprises, the cheapest place to fill the tank in our region. Nothing really of note across the rest of the Gulf where prices are exactly the same as this time last week. Kadeena's the best of the rest, $1.39 there, $1.40 in Whyalla. Drivers in Port Lincoln again forking out $1.44, but it could be worse. Broken Hill still the priciest at $1.45. Adelaide is at the bottom of the fuel cycle, averaging $1.30 a litre, so getting quick if you do need to fill up in the city. Over to diesel now, where this looks like code red, but take a closer look at the numbers and it's a lot less intimidating. It's the towns near the top of the Gulf that have seen the highest increases. Port Augusta and Port Pirie up by only a cent to $1.41 and $1.34 respectively. Kadeena the cheapest option at $1.34 a litre, $1.36 in Port Lincoln and $1.37 in Whyalla. Broken Hill again drawing the short straw, $1.46 a litre. Finally to Autogas, where as usual we've just got a few bumps in the road. Bad news out of the way first, prices have gone up in Kadena. We're talking half a cent, but it does put the town at the more expensive end of things. Only Port Lincoln comes off worse at 99 cents a litre. The good news is a price drop in Pirie, now 95 cents. From best to worst across the rest of our region, 88 cents in Whyalla, 92 cents in Broken Hill, and Port Augusta wrapping things up 96 cents a litre. Remember, as always, that these prices are the regional averages and do not reflect any one particular outlet. And if you do spot unleaded diesel or auto gas cheaper, be sure to let us know on our Facebook page.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Alex Sykes.
Thanks, Ruby, and good evening, everyone. Well, some people certainly awoke to a chill in the air this morning, but it turned into a beautiful mild day across the region. From 3 p.m, Woodna was mostly sunny and reached 19 degrees. Clare had morning frost and was mostly sunny. It reached 16 degrees there. And Cooper Pedy was sunny and it reached 20. Looking further out now, Port Augusta and Port Lincoln both got to a high of 18. Whyalla, Broken Hill, Port Pirie, Kadina and Cleve all topped 17 degrees. It was partly cloudy in Adelaide and got to a high of 15 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite image now, cloud moving over southern areas with an approaching cold front is causing the odd shower to develop, tending to rain overnight. Largely clear skies elsewhere due to high pressure and a dry air mass. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. East to northeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas below 1 metre, and south to southwesterly swell also below 1 metre. And there is a strong wind warning for the following areas: south central coast, upper southeast coast and lower southeast coast. Showers across parts of the Gulf tomorrow. Port Lincoln a shower to 18, similar conditions in Cleve 16, Woodna partly cloudy 17, becoming cloudy in Whyalla 20 degrees there, Port Augusta 21 and a shower to in Kadina 18 degrees. Similar conditions in Clare and Port Lincoln 15 and 19 degrees respectively, and it's set to be sunny in Broken Hill 19 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, showers across Port Pirie, Kadina, Adelaide and Port Lincoln on Friday, cloudy in Woodna and Whyalla both 18 degrees and mostly sunny across the rest of the region. A sneak peek at the weekend forecast now, conditions clearing on Saturday, rain for Whyalla, mainly fine conditions across the rest of the Gulf and similar conditions forecast for Sunday as well, mainly fine conditions across the Gulf, rain forecast for Adelaide if you are heading there. The region's top is set to be 19, while the low is set to be 15 degrees. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. Ruby, it's back to you.
Lovely, thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Wednesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.